The following is a presentation of the BellyUpSports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward Robles. Go! Insert name FC! Let's go! Insert name FC! What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, the host. Jesus Christ. All right, what is it? Oh, man. Clearly, I'm rusty. What is up, everybody? It's Hector Flores, host of the Insert Name FC podcast, a member of the BellyUpSports Media Network. You can find this podcast on all things podcasting. So, Insert Name FC, you can just find us there and you'll find the podcast. Also, make sure you guys follow us on social media on Instagram and the X at InsertNameFC. Check us out on YouTube. We do break down the full episode into shorter videos, so just so we can have something on the YouTube channel. But speaking on YouTube, so there's two versions of this podcast that you can listen to. One is obviously the audio version where you can listen to on any podcasting site like Spotify or Apple. The other way is you can watch the full video version on BellyUp's YouTube channel, along with not only BellyUp's YouTube channel, but you can also find us on GolzTV, GOZ.TV is the other avenue that you can find us on. But yeah, man, episode 205. Obviously, I wasn't at the last episode because I was very much under the weather. And honestly, a crazy series of events, man, that happened last week after along with me getting sick. I also got a swollen eyelid. I don't know what happened. I guess something got in my eye and it infected my eyelid. So, yeah, that happened. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but that happened nonetheless. But yeah, man. So, but yeah, I was feeling under the weather on Sunday. I couldn't really get any words in, but without coughing. And then Monday I didn't feel any better, but I did try to. Was it Monday or Tuesday? One of those days. I ended up trying to tough it out to like just do parts of the episode. Shout out to Kelsey, by the way, for filling in. But yeah. So after that, I had the whole eyelid thing, so that was fun. I actually had to go to the emergency room, not because I was like bad or anything like that. It was just like I'm like this eye is getting pretty like I look like I was getting like I look like I got my ass beat by like Mike Tyson or something with that eye. Like I look like I could have been like an extra for a Rocky movie. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go like I don't like so for instance just for a frame of reference, even though I am insured now and all that, I don't have a physician. Maybe that's something I need to get on top of. But so I literally just went to the emergency room. Luckily my insurance covered it. But yeah, it was just one of those things. And so not only was it that, but also they also told me, "Hey, do you know you have the flu?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't say." It was weird. But anyways, so they told me just to like gave me some medicine and an antibiotic to like get the swelling go down. And obviously, if you guys are watching the video version, you can tell my eye is not swollen. So win. But yeah. But this has been quite the week. Obviously, especially if you're here in America, Super Bowl happened. Yes, I watched the Super Bowl. Yes, I like American football. It's fine. You know, it's not the end of the world. I might actually talk about that also in this episode. just the Super Bowl in general. But yeah, Super Bowl happened. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl for their second ever Super Bowl, by the way. Shout out to Jared from Corner Booth Pod. He's a huge Eagles fan. So yeah, what a day. And well, like I said, I'll talk more about the Super Bowl, not necessarily what happened in the Super Bowl, but just like explain in some sense, I guess, the Super Bowl, and also my gripes with certain viewpoints of the Super Bowl. At least there's that. But yeah, this episode we're gonna have headlines, and players of the week and games to watch. There's not really much else going on, obviously, um, mainly because of the fact that uh, you know, well, we already did Champions League. I could do the Europa League, but at this point, they're already playing, so I'm not gonna, I can't really preview it. But we'll recap it once the playing round is done. We'll recap it. But yeah, so with that being said, we got headlines, players of the week, and games to watch. So and also me talking about the Super Bowl. So get ready for that. So sit back, relax, enjoy episode 205. Probably gonna be a short one, guys. Probably gonna be a short one. Let me tell you guys about BellyUpSports. BellyUpSports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. BellyUpSports is the premier, not your average website. All right, guys. So headlines. First headline we're going to talk about is Sergio Ramos has joined Rayados de Monterrey. If you guys aren't familiar with Rayados, it's a team obviously in Mexico and Liga MX. Definitely one of the more popular teams in Mexico. They're a part of a very iconic rivalry with Tigres, being that they are from the same city. Also have had a lot of success in Liga MX, and I believe also in the CONCACAF Champions Cup or Champions League, whatever they ended up calling it at the time. But also have a history of a lot of good players that have come through that team. A lot of history just in general. But yeah, so Sergio Ramos, who has had some time without being after his stint with Sevilla being over, hasn't had a club for a while. There was rumors of him possibly going to MLS. There was, I think there was even a rumor of him maybe going to Real Madrid, especially with all the injuries that has been going on the defensive side over there on that team. But no, the Spanish center back is joining Rayados, which is really cool. I think it's awesome. Like Monterrey is I think Monterrey is a really cool brand. I think they have a very beautiful stadium. You guys Google Rayados Stadium. It's probably one of the best views that you can have. Definitely on my bucket list of stadiums that I want to go visit. But yeah, the Spanish center back is joining Rayados, and he does have, I guess, some sort of familiar face. Some familiar faces. Tecatito plays there and Rayados now, which is crazy to think that guy. I just who knows how that career would have panned out if he was able to stay healthy while he was in Europe. But also Sergio Canales is currently the captain of Rayados. So this is now Sergio Ramos' third club since leaving Real Madrid, which obviously you guys remember he went to PSG for a year, then went to Sevilla, which is actually his boyhood club. But now he will be playing for Monterrey, and he chose a very cheeky number for his kit, which obviously everyone knows Sergio Ramos recently has preferred to wear the number 4, but he actually will not be wearing number 4. I don't know if it's available or not. I'm not really familiar with Rayados like that, but Sergio Ramos will be wearing the number 93 for the Rayados, and everyone was like, "That's a weird number. Why'd you pick that number?" So Sergio Ramos basically chose that because that was on the 93rd minute in the Champions League, where Real Madrid won La Décima, the 10th Champions League. he scored the tying header on the 93rd minute, which then went to extra time, and then Real Madrid ended up defeating Atletico Madrid 3-1 in extra time. So that's why he chose the number 93. I love it. I love that he is still going to take some jabs at Atletico Madrid. I love all that, especially the Madrid derby happened. It was another very just 1-1 draw. It is what it is, but and also kind of fitting that this happened leading in to that Madrid derby, and Sergio Ramos always trying to get that little tongue in cheek moment for himself. So, Sergio Ramos, one, I mean, he is definitely my guy. He's one of my favorite. He was for a long time my favorite player in Real Madrid. Um, he's a hard worker, great center back. I mean, definitely would be considered one of the best center backs in the world. And, World Cup champion, Champions League winner. Obviously did his thing with Real Madrid. Playing for Spain. So yeah, great career for him, and yeah, I'm excited for him in Monterrey. I do watch Liga MX, so I'm gonna definitely catch some Monterrey matches to see if he plays. I know he hasn't played yet, which obviously trying to get in group, especially he's been away. He hasn't been playing for almost like half a year, so that's also another factor in. But as well, I can't wait. I'm just trying to figure out how to get a Sergio Ramos jersey, because obviously you guys know I'm not necessarily like affiliated to a Liga MX team, so I definitely want to get me a Sergio Ramos Rayados jersey. So still trying to figure that out. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that, but yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait, man. Liga MX, like I said, is a really cool league. I like the league, how it's structured. It's one of the other leagues that has a playoff format, just in case anyone wants to try to continue taking shots at MLS. Well, Liga MX, which, Mexico has been very much respected in the world of football, has a league that has a playoff format, and, well, no one talks about it. I just want to point that out. But yeah, we'll see how Sergio Ramos does in Monterrey. I can't wait to see him play for sure. But yeah, there's that. The next headline is Neymar. So remember, Neymar was rumored to go to the Chicago Fire. Thank God that didn't happen. Not that I didn't want to see him in MLS. I would have loved to have seen him in MLS. It's just that I just didn't think Chicago was the right fit for him. I don't think, one, Chicago is just so many question marks behind it that I don't think Neymar would have been able to help improve that team. He needs to go to a team that they just need like a significant game changer type of player, and I just don't think it was Chicago. Chicago needs a lot of things aside from a game changing type player. Like I said, even though it's not a very popular place, but Inter Miami did make a lot of sense to me. Maybe one of the LA teams in San Diego, probably. Shoot, I mean the way things are looking for San Jose, that would have been kind of interesting. But I just didn't see Chicago Fire as an interesting like a fitting location. I think it would have been cool because Chicago culturally, not culturally. I think Chicago as a sports town makes a lot of sense, especially where the Chicago Bulls, even though the Bulls haven't been good lately, because Neymar is a basketball fan. I think that's where I go with it. When Neymar being such a big fan of basketball, I think LA made the most sense to me because of his ties to Kobe. If you guys remember in his docu-series that he had, he talked about how he actually spoke about Kobe Bryant's passing and how that impacted him. I think him going to LA and being able to go to like a Lakers game, especially with LeBron James and now Luka Doncic over there, it would have been kind of interesting to see that for him. I think he's definitely one of those players that has to go somewhere that has like a good NBA team. I think either at one of the LA teams. Obviously, like, yeah, New England and Boston. Boston is a really good basketball team, but You just don't know with New England Revolution. So I do think he needs to go to a situation that maybe is just a piece away. He wants to go somewhere where he's going to compete. And obviously the LA teams is probably and Miami are probably the two clear ones. New York, I think New York would have been cool. I think NYCFC or the Red Bulls would have been a cool thing. I think the Knicks. I haven't really been keeping track of the NBA, but I know Knicks was like viewed as a good. They're getting better now, so that would have probably maybe been enticing. But I'm not entirely sure anymore. I know for sure LA and Miami would have made the most sense. Even though I don't know how the Miami Heat is doing. I know that Jimmy Butler, they finally got rid of him. Like he's with the Golden State Warriors, so don't know about that. But anyways. He's not going to MLS. He is returning to his boyhood club, Santos, back in Brazil, where it all started for him. It's been 12 years since he left for Europe, which obviously involved him playing for the likes of Barcelona, PSG. Al Hilal is in Europe, but obviously he did also play at Al Hilal, sort of, because he only really played like 7 matches. I mean, he had a really bad injury and he just hasn't played since, and he really hasn't played since at all. But yeah, Neymar, it has like since leaving PSG, it just hasn't been great for him. And obviously, and then the injury, that's literally what happened. There's nothing really much else besides that. It's just the injury happened. But I think him going to Santos, which I also said, I think this is the ideal move for him, is to return to Santos. I just like it in general when players go back to where it all started for them. And now I understand that Alejandro Di Maria probably can't go back to where it all started for him and Rosario. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's cool when players are able to do that, to go return to their boyhood club or where it all started for them, or go back to their homeland. I think it's a really cool. And like, I mean, heck, Arturo Vidal, when he went back to Colo Colo, I thought that was really cool for him. So yeah, and I think that there's a lot of good things that can happen for Neymar going back to Santos. One, I'm not entirely sure what Santos is at. I know that like one of the big storylines for Santos was that they got they were relegated to the second division. But let me see. I don't know if they're still, yeah. So they're still in the Serie B of the Brazilian league, though they are in prime position to get promoted, which we all kind of figured that was going to happen. So, kind of, I think one of those things. I think on the flip side, um, we're talking about a possibility where Santos, when they go back into the Serie B, the Serie A, they are in a prime position where this is like, not only are we back in the top flight of Brazil, we got our GOAT back, and like so it's like everything's coming in the right direction. I think that, and one, by the way, the fandom of Santos is massive. They're a pretty big club in Brazil, so I'm not trying to say like, oh, like the fans have moved away from him, but just all the excitement of returning to the Serie A, and then having Neymar back. And especially if you can get Neymar to have his groove back and having fun with that Brazilian culture, I mean, the sky's the limit, man, right? Maybe I don't know. I don't know I don't think they qualify for Copa Libertadores, obviously, but, and then there's that, what if they can get back into discussion for Copa Libertadores? I mean, before Neymar left Santos, he won that. And so, I think it's like a lot of positive things that is going right now for not only for Neymar, but for Santos as well. So I think it's really cool. I love that he is back in that club. I think it's the best thing for him. Um, do I want him to see him leave? No, I want him to stay put. I want him to have fun, man. And I think him being fun, maybe he gets back in with the Brazilian national team, and maybe he's the guy that really helps put Brazil back on track. And I don't think it's that far fetched to say that. So yeah, I'm happy for Neymar. Neymar is definitely up there with one of the best in the world. It's unfortunate that he just hasn't had the ideal career that I guess many people thought he was gonna have. I think he still had a great career. he's just one of those guys that unfortunately had to deal with the Ronaldo Messi rivalry. And I think that that happens for a lot of players in this era. It's just that they got overshadowed by those two, and it's hard not to not be overshadowed by those two. So yeah, I think Neymar great for him. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna try to see if I can watch some Santos matches because I definitely want to see, Neymar get his groove back. I'm fully confident in saying that that's gonna happen. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Neymar. And the last headline is Wayne Rooney. So Wayne Rooney, it had retirement has not necessarily been great for this guy. Since leaving the Manchester United legend, I mean, recently he has been sacked by Plymouth, which is crazy to think because Plymouth just upsetted Liverpool in the FA Cup, but he did get sacked by Plymouth back in December. His managerial career has just not been well. Um, the whole Derby County thing. Then went to the MLS to coach DC United. Left DC United, and then I think it was Birmingham that he had, and then he got fired from Birmingham because he put them in a terrible position, and then gets Plymouth, and I believe Plymouth is now kind of in a relegation zone. So yeah, hasn't been great for him. Um, Sometimes, man, sometimes you're just not going to be a good coach. You know, that's something I think many people have said as well. Like, just because you were this, like top quality player, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a top quality coach. And I mean, shoot, Pep Guardiola, it wasn't like he was considered the best player in his position by any means. And I mean, look at him now. He's one of the best managers the world's ever seen. I mean, maybe not right now with the way Man City is looking, but still one of the most respected coaches where he's going to have a lot of say. Um, there's very rarely do you see a player known as a huge that was considered a legend or a star. Very rarely do you see them become like good coaches. Like it. Um, but yeah. So coaching, I think, is fairly much over for Rooney. I don't think he should even entertain the idea of coaching anymore. I mean, maybe he wants to. He still feels like he could do it, but I'm here to say he can't. It's just too many bad experiences now. Um, but a new opportunity has appeared, and it's looking like Amazon is looking for a star pundit. For I guess it's like Champions League. I guess Amazon is trying to get into like the Champions League coverage, and um, yeah, it's weird, but I mean, and it's not shocking. I mean, Amazon Prime. I mean, especially if you've been watching the NFL, they have their whole broadcast crew now. They had Jim Nance. Was it Al Michaels or Jim Nance? No, Al Michaels. He had Al Michaels along with Kirk Herbstreit, and then the halftime report, which was like this former offensive lineman, I think, for the Rams. You had Ryan Fitzpatrick. You had uh, uh, what's his name? Sherman. Yeah, Sherman. I don't remember his first name now, but Sherman is like he was like a shutdown corner back in the day. But Richard Sherman, there we go. But yeah, so like Amazon, you have Paramount. Paramount technically has like the TNT crew, but or no, TNT might be its own thing as well. Paramount has their thing, and blah blah blah. But anyways, Amazon is trying to recruit him in to be their star pundit. Kind of similar to how, yeah, like Paramount, how they have Wayne Rooney and no, not Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher. I don't know why that was a struggle for me to say that, and of course Michael Richards, and as well as with Kate Scott. I'm not gonna mess that up again. Um, but yeah, so but to start punting, I'm guessing because I mean at the end of the day, it's still Wayne Rooney. It's still one of the greatest, players for Manchester United. All the history that he had. I mean, obviously, I think he's still well loved over at Everton. Um, and I mean, I don't know about England. I can't really tell you much about England. But he was, I believe, part of that. I guess part of that golden generation of England with Stevie G and Lampard, and John Terry, and and anyways, but Amazon isn't the only channel that's looking at him. Sky Sports, which is more local for him over there in England. BBC, not that BBC, British Broadcasting Channel. I think that's what it's called. They also have their own football show, and then TNT, which TNT was I don't really remember too much about TNT. I do remember they had Steve Nash and Stuart Holden at one point. But I guess they're trying to shake things up over there. I don't know who they had now. But I mean, I think Wayne Rooney can bring in a lot of insight as being, especially a player of a higher caliber, a guy that has competed in Champions League, a guy that has competed in World Cups. So I think that I think that this could be his place now, like his role. Because honestly, if it's not this, it's definitely going to it's not even him becoming a coaching. Like I said, I think coaching has been long past for him. Like either it's just him just chilling at home or being a team ambassador, which is something that's very common for guys that, stop playing the game. Or maybe some sort of front office role, but I don't know, mate. The thing is, I also don't know how Wayne Rooney is like I don't know. I haven't really listened to enough interviews with Wayne Rooney, but look, man, if people are still giving shots to Landon Donovan to be a pundit, like, I mean, there could be better options. I mean, and I am going to take an opportunity to take a jab at him. But, so I think that this could be a cool opportunity for Wayne Rooney. I think maybe if he still wants to be a coach, maybe if he's not away from the game enough, like he's still going to see the nuances, the changes, the evolution of how the game progresses. He still is going to see that, but you get away. Sometimes you just need to take a break from coaching because coaching is a grind. Like it's nonstop, just focusing on preparation, watching film, analyzing, it's a lot of stuff. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming. And I mean, for Wayne Rooney, a guy that basically got just put in this scenario, because I believe when he went to Derby, I think he was just still a player initially, and then the manager got fired, so then he had to take over as manager, and ever since then he's just been coaching. So he's it's not like he actually got to be under someone's coaching staff or anything like that. He just got thrown right into the fire. And everyone's expecting him to just figure it out. I think this will give him an opportunity to actually maybe analyze and see what people do. And maybe, like I said, maybe him taking a break could help him reassess how he wants to handle things as a coach. And that could help him out a ton. So I think that this could be a good opportunity for him. I hope that he ends up taking one of these jobs. I don't care where. But I think being a pundit could be the right place for him. But we'll see what happens, man. So we'll take another break, and then we'll go right into Players of the Week. Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadipCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of BellyUpSports. All right, guys, Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site, app, however you use it. It's awesome for getting all your tickets for live events, sports, concerts, theater, comedy shows. If it's live, SeatGeek has it there. Me and Edward, we use SeatGeek all the time, especially to go watch our matches. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about SeatGeek, has super simple grading system. It uses colors. If it's red, that means those seats for that price is not worth it. Keep looking. You're going to find a better deal. And if it's green, that means the price for these tickets, for these seats, are perfect. Go ahead and buy it and enjoy your event. So if you guys are intrigued by the simplicity of SeatGeek, well, if you use the code BellyUpSports for your first time purchase, use the code BellyUpSports and you'll save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event. We got the tickets. So my player of the week is Christian Pulisic, who had 2 assists in AC Milan's 2-0 win against Empoli. I know people are tired of us hyping up Christian Pulisic, but hey, he's doing things. You know, at the end of the day, he's doing stuff for AC Milan. This is probably like the most hype I've given Christian Pulisic, but it is warranted. He provided 2 assists, came off the bench came in the second half and provided 2 assists. As a matter of fact, not only was he coming off the bench, but Rafael Leao, who got a goal from him, and new signing Santi Jimenez, which once again I'm gonna keep flexing that was my player to watch for the January transfer window, and now he's signed to AC Milan. He also got an assist from Christian Pulisic, which I know there was a lot of memes of, like, you know, they had the formation, and between Christian Pulisic and Santi Jimenez was a wall, because obviously America and the whole, you know, U.S. thing. But anyways, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Christian Pulisic. I'm happy for Santi Jimenez. It's great to see that they're being able to gel. But yeah, solid 2-0 win for them against Empoli, and we'll see where they build from that. And then Edwards' player of the week is back-to-back Randall Kolo Muani, who scored 2 goals in Juventus' 2-1 win against Como. So Kolo Muani, since coming on loan to Juventus, has already been an impactful player for them. So much that we've already featured him twice, back-to-back, for players of the week. So congratulations to Christian Pulisic and Randall Kolo Muani for being our players of the week. Once again, use the code BellyUpSports at checkout for your first time, if you're a first-time user for SeatGeek, use the code BellyUpSports and you'll save $20 off that first purchase. So thank you SeatGeek, and congrats to Christian Pulisic and Randall Kolo Muani for being our players of the week. All right, guys, games to watch this weekend. We got Tigres versus Cruz Azul in Liga MX, and we got PSV taking on FC Utrecht in the Netherlands over there in the Eredivisie. In Ligue 1, we got Montpellier versus Lyon and Stade Rennes versus Lille. In the Bundesliga, we got Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. Obviously, some implications, especially on that top part of the table in the Bundesliga, and VfB Stuttgart versus VfL Wolfsburg. So a really good matchup right there. In the Serie A, we got Lazio versus Napoli and Juventus taking on Inter Milan. Does Kolo Muani go for the three-peat? We'll see. In La Liga, we got Atletico Madrid taking on Celta Vigo, and Real Betis taking on Real Sociedad. In the Premier League, we got Brighton versus Chelsea again, which they played, I think, last week in the FA Cup. I think that was what happened. I don't know. But anyways, Brighton versus Chelsea. We're going to have that again. And Manchester City versus Newcastle United. Can Manchester City get on the winning side of things? We'll find out. But those are, obviously that's not all the matches that are happening this weekend. But if you guys need a good beginner's guide, well, there you go. So, all right, we're going to take a break, and then we'll wrap this show with my thoughts on the Super Bowl.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at BellyUpSports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys, look. So the Super Bowl happened. And for starters, once again, I just want to congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles. I was actually rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl because A, I'm tired of seeing the Kansas City Chiefs win. And two, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, is from Channelview, Texas, which is not that far from here in Houston, Texas. So he is a hometown kid. More often than not, I do end up rooting for the hometown player, especially if I don't really have if I don't have a dog in the race. So yeah, that's usually my go-to. But yeah, I was rooting for Jalen Hurts, which I'm happy he had actually was the Super Bowl MVP. Great game. Well, I mean, I guess not really because it was a blowout. Um, but so like I said, I'm not here to talk the game. I'm not here because obviously this isn't an American football podcast or anything like that. But I just want to because and I mentioned this on a previous episode. Look, like American football, I didn't get into it till 2000. The 2000 Super Bowl was my first American football game, which was between the St. Louis Rams at the time, the St. Louis Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans. I didn't know anything about football at the time. I didn't even realize that was the Super Bowl. I thought every game was like that, to be honest. But and the reason why I bring this up is like when I watched it, I was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. That's all I said. That's all I took from it. I didn't feel like this was going to compete with my love for soccer. I didn't, or football, because apparently that matters to some people about how we call this game. Um, but the thing is just it is a phenomenon. It is a big thing here in the U.S. And at the end of the day, even though I come from a Salvadorian home, I'm still an American, and American football, I'm sorry, is pretty fun. I still love soccer. I still love watching the World Cup. I still love watching the Premier League, La Liga. I like MLS. I know you guys hate there's people out there that hate MLS, but I love MLS. And I think the thing is just that like the thing I really can't stand a little bit too much when it comes, especially around the Super Bowl, is the fact that I have to deal with dumb Americans and dumb Europeans. Yes, you guys can both be dumb. The dumb American part is just the arrogance and the whole thing about, oh, this is the biggest sporting event in the world. It's not. It's not even remotely close to being the biggest sporting event in the world. It's probably the biggest sporting event here in the US. I agree to that part, but it's not bigger than the World Cup. It's not even bigger than Champions League. But I'm also I don't care. Because obviously, in reality, when it comes to the world and the aspect, American football is a very niche sport. It doesn't feel like it here in the U.S., but it is. It is a niche sport. It is not. It's not one that everyone really cares too much about. Now, I think that there are people that have a lot of interest in it now, especially, the shots that we got from across the world, the people watching the Super Bowl. You're seeing that there is an intrigue similar to how there's an intrigue here in the U.S. for the Premier League and La Liga. You know, it's the same thing that over across the world. There's people that are interested in American football, and there's nothing wrong with it. But yes, I do think the arrogance of Americans that have like this dumb idea that soccer is an inferior sport when the whole rest of the world loves it. But pretends like only here in America is what matters, what people think matters. In reality, and I can attest to this because I've had these very long conversations with multiple people, especially during my time in the military, of me trying to explain that the World Cup is the biggest competition in the world. It is literally the most viewed competition in the world. And I wasn't taking jabs at at American football. It wasn't. I love watching the national football. Yeah, like I love watching the national championship game in college football. I love watching the Super Bowl. I love watching base. I love watching the World Series. I'm a huge baseball nerd. Um, you know, NHL. I might watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's probably as far as I'll go. Maybe one off regular season hockey game, but like I'm not really that familiar with hockey. Basketball. The only time I was very much invested in it was when I worked for the Rockets. Aside from that, I'm not really like I won't really care too much about NBA until like the playoffs happen, and maybe I'll watch the finals depending on the matchup. But yeah, I mean, and then the NCAA, which is going to come up, the NCAA men's college basketball tournament. I definitely watched that, and that's obviously when the tournament happens, not the regular season. Um, but the whole point of me saying that is just people forget. Like I feel like Americans forget that there's other things across the world because honestly, like some of the biggest competitions in the world, some of the most viewed competitions in the world. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I've watched all of them. I don't really understand cricket, and I haven't really had a chance to watch cricket because it's not necessarily accessible for me here in the U.S. Not this isn't me saying that I don't want to watch cricket, by the way. But I would be open to watching it just to see what it is all about. But I mean, I don't sit here and try to tell you that I like golf. I don't watch golf. I don't even know how to play golf, but I know I find golf to be very boring. Um, I've mentioned I love Formula One. I don't really like NASCAR too much because I find NASCAR a little bit redundant, whereas and long because it's like 500, 300 laps versus Formula One, which is a very digestible track, and it's like 51 minute, maybe 51 laps, so it's maybe a 3 hour, 2 hour affair versus NASCAR being God knows how long that thing lasts. But I mean, do like 500 laps, so I mean, God knows how long that's gonna take. Um, but I would still watch it. Maybe live, it's a whole different thing, and I think that's always the case for every sport. Live, it's a whole different thing. I'm not gonna tell you I watched like wrestling, and I mean obviously the rest the not WWE the actual real wrestling. Um, I want to watch that. But anyways, the whole point of this is the arrogant, and I've had to like explain multiple times to people. Yes, football is the biggest sport in the world. Like it just is. It's not. This isn't me taking jabs at American football. This isn't me taking jabs at basketball or baseball. It just the truth. It just that's what it is. People love this game. More people keep their eyes on this game more than they watch American football. And then you have, oh well, you know, it's just a bunch of guys just kicking the ball and then pretending to be, and flopping around. And so like especially like I get it. I get it for a lot of people when they get annoyed of hearing an American try to talk about football. I get it. But at the same time, these Europeans that have to point out how it is that American football is nothing compared to the World Cup. One, we're comparing a regular season championship game, like a yearly championship game, versus the biggest thing that happens every 4 years. Like one, no, duh. There's gonna be more eyes on the World Cup because it happens every 4 years and it's international. So like different countries are playing. So that obviously all eyes to see. Now, compare it to the Champions League, I can sit there and compare the viewership of the Champions League versus the viewership of the Super Bowl, and I get it because the Super Bowl is not even gonna touch the viewership of the Champions League final. But I don't want to use the World Cup final because it's the biggest thing. It's the biggest event in the world because it happens every 4 years, and so like I just don't think you can compare that to a Super Bowl. Like that's just me. But like yeah, it gets annoying. It gets annoying, like from both sides. When you're trying to just be an American who loves soccer or football, like it does get annoying because it's like you can't. It's like you have to have you got to be on a side, and in reality, you don't. You don't have to be on a side. You really don't, and it's perfectly fine to like American football, and it's also perfectly fine to like football. It's not you're not turning on your people if you do so. And I think in reality, if you were to give it a fair shot, and I'm saying it for both sports, American football and football, if you were to give it a real shot, being going in with the blinders off, just enjoying the event for what it is the rules to American football kind of complicated? Yes, but you can pick it up as you go. It is not that hard. Like it does. It's not. It. Okay. You get four try. You technically have four attempts to try to make it past 10 yards. That's not hard to figure out. The fouls and all that, I could get that. But I mean, the concept at the end of the day is not complicated. It's like you get to the end zone, you get 6 points. You can either go for a field goal and get an extra point, or you can try to run a play to get to the end zone for 2 points. It's really not that complicated. But obviously the dumb European wants to try to make it, oh, it's so dumb, it's so complicated. Oh, look at all the injuries, blah blah blah. Like, who cares? Like, just like the reason why I say who cares, like, let people just have fun. Because that's really what the big thing about the Super Bowl is. It's fun. It's cool. It's fun. It's just people having fun. We are all having fun watching, the Kansas City Chiefs get their asses handed by the Philadelphia Eagles, who played an amazing defensive strategy to keep Patrick Mahomes quiet. So yeah, there is some things to be there's some things to be appreciated of that game. Um, but yeah, I didn't want to be strictly to that, but also I enjoyed the halftime show. And I know some people didn't like the halftime show. Some people said it was the worst show. Some people were dumb enough to say that Creed should have been there. I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole, by the way, because I'm gonna say something very that could probably cause my relationship with this network drastically. But I'm gonna say this: I get it. People don't like. Maybe there's people out there that just don't get why rap and pop are the ones that are being featured now more so than ever now. The reality is, we're probably never gonna see a rock band in a long time. We're not gonna. No one's gonna be asking for Creed. No one's gonna ask for Nickelback. No one's gonna ask for Metallica. That would be cool though. AC/DC. Like, no one in this generation is gonna want those bands. Like, it is now. It's pop and rap. That is maybe a country. Maybe we'll get a country singer one day, and it might be Beyonce. But I'm just saying, like, who was one of the most talked about artists this past year? It was Kendrick Lamar. He had the rap beef with Drake. He did release an album recently, so it did make a lot of sense that Kendrick Lamar would be performing. And I think the people that try to criticize the Super Bowl halftime show, like, these artists can't necessarily play their whole song, and like they have to be strategical on how they're going to perform each song, because they can't just, oh, I'm just going to do one or two songs. No, like, we want to have some hits. And I mean, Kendrick Lamar, I will say, I wish I got to see Mad City, got to hear Mad City, but or Swimming Pool, but I mean, Kendrick put up a good show, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. We all knew it was gonna happen. We all kind of we hoped it was gonna happen, and deep down we knew it was probably gonna happen. Was that he was gonna feature the song that, Not Like Us, that is the diss song to Drake. This song, by the way, that has won Grammys off of, and Drake did threaten to sue Kendrick Lamar if he was to perform Not Like Us in the Super Bowl. And yeah, when he did it, it got the pop, it got everyone excited. I don't care the people that are, getting all pissy about that. Oh, I couldn't hear. It's a rapper. Like, but it was so like everything, all the details that he put into this halftime show. I love it. I love the troll job that he did to Drake. I love the fact that he got I didn't know Serena Williams dated Drake, by the way, but just the fact that he had her crib walking and then learning that this was Drake used to date or had some sort of, I don't know what it was with Serena Williams. I just know that it apparently it like this dude was just, I'm going to troll the living crap out of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Go ahead and sue me. I'm going to call you a pedophile in front of every. Well, and technically he didn't call him a pedophile, but and also I love the fact that he had a lowercase a as a chain, referring to the A minor line that he was going to say, and he got the whole crowd. That stadium yelled out A minor. Everyone was waiting for that line, and yeah, that was, to me, this Super Bowl was awesome. This was um we saw two people take a massive L in Drake and the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, it was quite the spectacle. Um if you didn't watch Super Bowl, if you're one of those like, oh, everything America does is stupid, just give it a shot, man. And the same thing to those to like I may be giving jabs at these dumb Europeans, but I'm also going to give some jabs to these dumb Americans. This whole idea that soccer is this communist ploy or whatever the hell y'all come up with, which is, by the way, has to be by far the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Give give the beautiful game a shot. That's all I'm asking. Give it an actual shot, and I'll shut up. But like, sitting here and telling me, oh, it's boring, oh, it's low scoring, like, oh, it's just it's just 2-1. What's 14-7? What's 14-7? I'll tell you, it's 2-1. American football is just as low scoring as football. Like, and you don't even have to score it into a little box. You just have to run right. You have to run into the box. Like in football, you have to try to hit it inside this target that's being blocked by a goalkeeper. It is not as easy as it sounds, especially when you're getting defended. And I know, oh, I'm not, and this is me downplaying football because it is also hard to score a touchdown because of the fact that you have a guy, padded up that's there to literally destroy you. But, like I said, the nuances are there for a reason. The nuances are nuances, and I think everyone just needs to give it a fair shot. But anyways, I enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was fun. It's a tradition that it's one of the few traditions that I love here in America. And if you want to check it out, check it out. If you don't, then don't complain about it. Like, that's probably my big thing, especially like the people that take so many shots at American football. Like, then why, like, if you don't care to watch it, why are you even talking about it? Why do you care about showing the views of the Super Bowl versus the World Cup? Because at the end of the day, you just want someone to hear you out, and no one cares. But all right.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Shout out to the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check out their website, BellyUpSports.com. Lots of articles being written. Lots of great articles. Lots of great podcasting available as well, like Corner Booth Pod. Once again, congratulations, Jared. Congratulations on your Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. High Low Sports. A lot of great stuff. So go ahead and check them out. Follow them on Instagram and X at BellyUpSports as well. Also, GolzTV, GolzTV. That's another way you can watch this episode on. Go ahead and check them out. Follow them on Instagram at golz.tv, golz.tv, and that's on Instagram, and on the X at golz_TV, goals_TV. That's how you can follow them. But check it out, man. MLS is kicking up pretty soon, so yeah, be on there for that. And shout out to Roosevelt Spencer, man. He is the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer Player of the Year award. If you guys like the intros and outros for this podcast, well, that's who is responsible for it. So, we love Spencer so much. That's why we named the award after him. And if you guys need some B work done, we'll hit him up on Instagram at that guy dope. Once again, at that guy dope, and he'll take great care of you like he always does with us. But with all that being said, man, thank you so much for listening to episode 205. Catch us next week for episode 206. Take care, guys.
Who is that guy?